Your Cowboys. You know, Jerry, who we've all made fun of, and everyone has pointed out his lack of success really since the Bears-Switzer Super Bowl season. And I was the one, I think, who was comparing them to the Kardashians, where it's this famous family that everybody talks about, but nobody knows what the actual talent is. But yet they've landed all this talent. And Parsons is, if he's not the best defensive player, is one of the best defensive players. This defense looked absolutely terrifying last week. There's enough offense to go around. And it's just hard to pick nits with this team unless you could do the whole, well, we got to see Dak, look at his playoff record, or the McCarthy piece of it. But for the most part, it feels like there's, I said this Sunday night, it feels like there's three really, really, really superb teams. I'm including Philly, and maybe they won't even get there. And then it's a major drop-off. But I don't remember Dallas being in this spot before, this early.
I'll tell you what feels different for a Jerry-built team is that Jerry loved famous football players who were often not the best football players. And
like Joey Galloway, Alvin Harper,
Zeke Elliott,
right?
Jalen Smith. I mean, we could go on. There would be these guys who had these enormous profiles, but were not actually great at their jobs anymore. This team, beyond Micah Parsons and Dak, who you mentioned, is built with Tony Pollard and Terrence Steele, their right tackle, and Tyler Smith, the guy they drafted in the first round last year. They have really good safeties. It's just like a well-built football team. I thought they played free agency really well by getting Stephon Gilmore and Brandon Cooks for mid-round picks. These guys are just good football players. So it just feels very, very different than other Cowboy teams, and that's what makes me think that they could be really good this year.
It's one of those, it's just more fun when they're involved.
Of course.
The NBA has a few teams like that too. Like you can talk about, it's so nice to have Milwaukee in there and stuff. But when it's like the Celtics and the Lakers and the Sixers, now we're bringing in 50 plus years of stuff in a bunch of cases. The thing with the Cowboys, like they were talking about this Giants-Cowboys rivalry. They played that up on the week one. And who is the Cowboys rival? Because you could say it's the Giants, but other than the LT era, like what were the great Cowboys-Giants games? It was like they were never really good at the same times. And then
yes,
I would say the Eagles, same thing. Like you'd go back to the 90s, but for the most part, I don't really feel like they overlap. Who do you consider the big Dallas rival?
Well, I'd say the Eagles felt, at least during the regular season last year, like the one that was the nastiest. That felt like this is a huge game. I don't want to lose. I won't feel good about losing this under any circumstances. And then I think the other one is the 49ers, just because they've beaten them in the playoffs the last 2 years. And that feels like it's heated up a little bit again and was really the true rival of the 80s and then later in the 90s. But
I agree with you. I think it's the Niners. I'm with you. Because they've had the most memorable games against the Niners.
And the other one we got denied this week is Aaron Rodgers versus the Cowboys. I mean, that was an absolute murderer of the Cowboys year after year after year. You remember that one pass in the playoffs, the Cowboys were the number one seed. Not going to happen. That was supposed to be this week. Prime game on CBS. But we'll see.
I want to talk about Rodgers night in 1 second. So hold that one. What, if you had to guess how this Dallas season plays out from a media coverage, fan base, hysteria, dominant storyline standpoint, it feels like they have a chance to swallow up this season if they can keep it going like they did.
Yeah. Especially because the Jets content feels like it's about to tail off.
That's gone. Yeah, we're done. We're done with the Jets. Mahomes isn't going to be that as fun as usual to watch because he doesn't have the same weapons. Miami's kind of interesting if they can keep two on the field just because of how much fun they are. But it feels like it's a Dallas-San Francisco collision coming.
I accidentally turned on Greeny yesterday, Bill, when I was driving around the car.
Was he hosting his own show or no?
He was actually on. So that was the first surprise. Amazing. And he's reading these emails.
You had a 1 in 9 chance of hearing him host his own show. I can't believe it.
He's reading these emails and it's like, could the Jets win a Super Bowl based on their defense like the 85 Bears? I'm like, guys, the drawbridge has gone up on Jets content. We're done. We spent the whole preseason on that. It's time to move on. We're all good. Thanks very much.